Hi everyone, I hope you're all keeping safe and well. It's just gone 2 o'clock in the morning here at King's College Hospital in central London, meaning I'm just about halfway through a night shift on a pretty busy intensive care unit, which we have designed exclusively for COVID patients. So that's patients with the disease caused by the novel coronavirus. I've had a lot of people suggesting that I get on the bandwagon and make a social media video, so somewhat self-indulgently, that's what I'm doing. Of course, I hope it goes viral and I never have to buy myself a beer again, but I'm not holding out much hope. Again, people are asking if we can offer any sort of update, if we can give a good insight into what's going on. And indeed, I'm in a privileged position working in a major tertiary referral hospital in London. We have certainly seen our fair share of cases already, and arguably could act as a forecast for a lot of the UK and further afield, although we don't really know how this is going to progress as a phenomenon, and we're very cautiously reacting to any new information that arises. As the data forms, we have to be very careful how we synthesize that and form plans, as this really is an unprecedented time, particularly for our generation. I was going to just touch on a few of the difficulties that we're facing and hopefully also give a little bit of a positive slant on things. And I would very much like to start by thanking everybody who has been there for us as the healthcare community and the wider community of key and essential workers. You've really come together and are making this as feasible a response as we possibly can, so thank you. In terms of the difficulties that we're facing, I think everybody has a different experience of this. Certainly we all have certain things in common also. From my perspective, some of the difficulties are coming directly from work and others are more related to my personal response to things. Clearly we have a vast number of very unwell patients, and there is an emotional fatigue associated with that, and particularly with the high mortality that we are experiencing, whereby we see certainly a greater number of patients succumbing to illness than we would usually be accustomed to, and that certainly is quite draining, not just on ourselves but those of us who are around at work and at home that we tend to lean on when we need some support. On a more personal note, I recently got engaged, trying to save for a wedding. Unfortunately, our budgets now have to be reallocated to finding accommodation closer to work. We're doing a lot of on-call shifts from home so that we're available for people if they go off sick or have to be reallocated within the hospital. So that's small fry really compared to a lot of the adjustments that people are making. More and more people across the country are having to come to terms with very significant loss, and indeed the difficulties of having loved ones who are transiently ill, albeit recovering. It's a real emotional tie for them for a good period. On a more positive note, I was hoping just to comment on mental health and to encourage people and anyone who's watching this to really take stock of their mental health, have a really good think about what you're doing actively to preserve your mental health. And those of you who perhaps are feeling anxiety and confusion around this, I think that's totally normal, a response. Nobody knows how they're going to respond to this sort of thing, and there's no such thing as a right or wrong way to look at it. I would very much recommend, if you are feeling anxious about things, that you take a good break from social media each day. Try and avoid WhatsApp, Facebook and all of the other ones, as there's a lot of misinformation there, and a lot of it is clickbait, and it really is designed to arouse your senses and not necessarily inform you. So that'd be my suggestion to you. I think also the government's thrown the country here quite rightly into a state of lockdown, and I think that's a huge opportunity for the country. I think society as a whole, we can all really reflect on where we are in our lives. It gives us the opportunity to slow down and just think about what we're doing, where we're going, what's coming up. I think this is an opportunity to become productive. I think while we're stuck at home, when better to engage with learning something, building something, make a plan, try and learn an instrument, take on a new hobby, whatever it is, or plan something for the future that you can look forward to. But I think these are really, really important times for us to concentrate on our mental health. I highly recommend trying to generate an aspect of productivity to each of your days, and definitely taking a break from some of the more anxiety-driving media that we've got surrounding us at the moment. I'd like to extend a massive thank you to everybody that's been around to support me personally, and then the wider community as well. You're all chipping in and doing your bits where you can, and I really, really would encourage you to keep doing that, even though it can seem tiresome at times. Finally, the biggest thing that you can do for us is please stay home. Don't give up on the lockdown. We really need to contain this. If you're at home, you're safe, and you're, most importantly, keeping vulnerable people safe. Really look after yourselves, and if all of those measures don't work, please feel free to buy us a flat or a wedding or whatever you can do. Be very gratefully received. Anyway, take care of yourselves. Goodbye.